Hi, my name is Benita from Colombia. Please like and subscribe. I was raised by a single mom who was always so busy at work that she never had any time for me. So she'd try to make up for it by getting me expensive gifts. Honey, I bought you this lovely dress in your favorite color.
It's red, Mom. My favorite color is green, and this dress isn't even my size.
Well, it was no surprise that Mom knew nothing about me, but things got too much when she even forgot my birthday. I am so sorry, Benny. I was just so caught up and...
Forget it, Mom. You're never there for me. I guess you're not so different from Dad.
Hey, that's not fair. But I just walked off to my room and slammed the door shut. I knew she hated it when I compared her to Dad. And I decided if she didn't care about me, then I was going to learn how to be happy on my own. After that day, I became friends with the neighborhood kids and started playing with them until Mom got back. And it was pretty fun. Until one day when I was 8, one of the kids kicked a ball and it broke a neighbor's car window. Shoot! All the kids ran away, but I was too slow and the neighbor caught me. You did this. I'm gonna tell your mom now. Before I could even protest, a little girl spoke up.
No, it wasn't her. The girl who broke your car ran that way.
The neighbor immediately ran in that direction, and my eyes lit up.
Hi. Thanks for saving me when my own friends ditched me. Guess they ain't your friends then.
She introduced herself as Sarah and told me her parents had recently moved to the neighborhood. And just like my mom, they also kept busy most of the time. After that day, Sarah and I started spending time with each other, and soon we became besties. We even started with our very own china collection after we bought the most beautiful green-colored teapot in a yard sale.
One day, we'll have a whole room filled with beautiful china. Yeah, and everyone is gonna call us queens. Queens of China.
Time went by and our friendship grew stronger until one day, Sarah told me her family's business had grown and they were moving to a richer neighborhood. Of course, both of us were really sad, but there was nothing we could do. But only after a few days, Sarah started acting weird. She'd spend more time with other rich girls at school and avoid me.
Hey, remember this really awesome cafe you wanted to go visit? They're giving away free desserts this evening. We should definitely go.
The girls behind her started laughing and Sarah joined them.
Are you kidding me? Free stuff is for poor people, Benny. Yeah, that's poor people talk. By the way, what does your dad even do?
Oh, I'll tell you. None of your business.
Chill out, Benny. And sorry, I can't hang. I'm going shopping with my friends for a party tonight.
A party? Well, that sounds fun too. I wasn't invited, but we could go together.
I don't think so. If they didn't invite you, maybe they don't want you there, but I'll see you later.
How could she say that to me? The next few days, I saw her running errands for other rich, bratty girls, and I felt so bad. She was my best friend after all, and I wasn't going to give up on her so easily. So I thought of reminding her of the good old days. Hey Sarah, it's been ages since I saw our china collection. Did you add anything new to it?
That collection was trash. After we moved into our new mansion, I threw it away to make space for my new branded stuff.
But those were our childhood memories.
Come on, Benny, give me a break. It was just childish stuff.
We're too grown up for that anyway.
And it's not like we're friends anymore.
Gosh, that made me so mad that I jumped on her and we both went crashing into the girl standing behind her. And just then some teachers caught us and we got detention for a week. But after this incident, I knew one thing for sure. I was so done with Sarah now, and I was never gonna be friends with anyone ever again. Later in the detention room, I was drawing something when I heard a scary voice from behind me. God, you suck at this, don't you? I turned around and saw a monster. Jeez, you scared the heck out of me. Who are you and what are you doing here? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm Martha, and I was put in detention on my very first day because I tried to prank some kids. God, she was something. From that day, she'd come and sit in the detention room and talk my ear off all the time. This school is so fancy. Even the detention room is so big. Did you know I'm here on a scholarship? I brought a ham sandwich. Want to have lunch with me today? My dad works in a hospital. What does your dad do? Nothing. Why do you talk so much? I'm sorry. I talk a lot when I'm nervous and I don't have any friends here, so I feel a bit left out. Looking at her sad face, I felt bad for being so rude to her. So I told her she could talk to me. But I regretted my decision very soon, because now Martha became my unwanted shadow and followed me everywhere. One time after math class, I tried to avoid her by hiding in the gym, but moments later, I heard her voice. There you are. I've been looking for you. Phew, it's like you almost didn't want to be found. God, did she have some kind of tracker on me? Finally, it was the weekend, and I was so grateful that I wouldn't have to see Martha for the next 2 days. I was in my room watching my favorite MSA videos when Mom called me. Benny, your friend is here. My friend? I walked downstairs and found Martha in my living room chatting away with Mom. What are you doing here? Don't be rude, Benny. Your friend came to study with you. Yes, you said we could work on the assignment together. Ugh. Mom sent her upstairs with me, and Martha kept blabbering about how beautiful my house was. Wow, your mom is so amazing. But where's your dad? He's away on a business trip. Awesome, where to? China. What does he do? Are you here to do homework or interview me? Let's just focus on the assignment, Martha. And surprisingly, she was really good at studies. She helped me finish my assignments quickly and showed me some super cool tricks to solve equations. Over the next few weeks, Martha and I started to get along. She was really cool, and I loved how she always made me laugh. Then one time, when we were having lunch together in the cafeteria, Sarah kept staring at us. And then suddenly, she tripped over something and all the food in her tray landed on one of her girlfriends. What the heck? Do you know this dress costs more than your entire net worth? She pushed Sarah down and poured juice all over Sarah's head. The rest of the crowd just stood there laughing and making videos of her, while my blood boiled. But since Sarah made it clear that we weren't friends anymore, I turned away. But Martha stopped me. We should help her, Benny. I saw Sarah's miserable face, and I went ahead and helped her up from the floor while Martha shooed everyone away. After she calmed down, we both left from there. But the next day, Sarah came running to us in tears. Benny, I'm so sorry. After you helped me yesterday, I realized you're my only true friend, and I behaved so horribly with you. So please, forgive me and let's be friends again. Nice try, Sarah, but I know you're only here because your old gang dumped you. So no, you ain't welcome here. But Benny, maybe she really is sorry. No, it's all right, Martha. If she doesn't want me here, I'll leave. She got really sad and walked away. But then a few days later, something shocking happened. It was raining very heavily, and I heard a knock at my door. When I opened it, I saw Sarah covered in bruises. Oh God, Sarah, what happened? It's so slippery and I tripped on my way, but luckily this didn't break. Here, it's for you. She handed me a box, and when I opened it, I screamed with joy. It was the first antique green china teapot we bought together. You had it all this time? Yeah, I lied in front of those girls to look cool, but I could never throw it away because we had so many memories with it. Oh, Sarah. I let her in and got her some hot chocolate to drink. After that, I dressed her wounds and she apologized to me for everything. I could see how sorry she was, and I decided to forgive her. And just like that, Sarah, Martha, and I became friends. It was so great to have her back because, to be honest, I really missed her. One night, I decided to call both of them for a sleepover at my place. I went downstairs to get them more snacks, but when I came back, Martha wasn't there. I went looking for her and saw her going through my stuff in my room. Martha, what are you doing? Sorry. I was just looking for something to wear. I spilled some juice over, and that's when I saw her holding up a magazine in her hand. Where did you get that from? I snatched it from her hands, feeling sick to my stomach. It was like my worst nightmare had come true. It's your dad, right? I stood there like a statue, but then she held my hand. You know you can trust me, right? Yes, that's my dad, and he's in jail. My mom and I had to move here and restart our lives after Dad was arrested in England. I've always felt so ashamed, and Mom was so heartbroken that she threw herself into her work, leaving me all by myself. Oh, Benny, I'm so sorry about this, but you're not alone anymore. I'm here for you. I'll always be with you. She hugged me tight, and I felt like a weight lifted off after talking about my dad. But a week later, I walked into school and everyone kept staring at me like I was some alien. I didn't know why, till I got to my locker and almost had a heart attack. Pictures of Dad and his trial were posted everywhere. Just then, I saw Sarah running towards me. Benny, are you okay? Sarah, did you have something to do with this? What? Don't be ridiculous. I've known since we were kids and I've never told anyone. Why would I do this now? She was right. She had always known, and even when we weren't friends, she never told anyone. And that's when my heart felt like it stopped beating. Martha. Just when I started to trust her, she did this. I saw Martha skipping happily towards me, and I went ahead and pounced on her. How could you do this, you little snoop? Why would you do this? Benny, wait, what are you... Sarah came in and pulled me away. Let it go, Benny. Don't get upset. The next few days, I didn't go to school, but Sarah came to visit me every day and kept me company. It felt so nice to have her around. She even tried to convince me to give Martha a second chance, but I stood firm. But one night, when she didn't come, I decided to polish the china teapot she brought me. And that's when I noticed it wasn't the china teapot we bought when we were younger. What the heck? Could it be that she lied to me too? I stepped out of the house to get some fresh air. And that's when I noticed two figures arguing. Why are you even here? Benny and I are best friends, and you need to back off. But she needs to know I didn't do it. It was actually you. Yeah, it was me, but there's no way you can prove it, weirdo. So get lost now. What? So she was the one who told everyone about my dad and framed Martha? I went right up to her and slapped her right in the face. Benny, what are you doing here? And why? Drop the act, Sarah. How could you stoop so low? I trusted you. And Sarah suddenly looked like a psycho. You left me no choice. I hated seeing you so happy with her, and I just wanted my bestie back. And about your dad, don't worry. Everyone at school will forget about it in no time. You know high schoolers and their short-term memories. No harm done. God, you're crazy. I know the teapot is fake, Sarah, and so is your friendship. I hate you, and you stay away from me. I went over to Martha and immediately apologized to her. I am so sorry for not believing you, Martha. Please, forgive me. It's okay, Benny. It wasn't your fault. I'm the one who asked you to give this crazy witch a chance. Forget about her. Let's go grab some ice cream. But where are we going to get ice cream this late? In my fridge. You're staying the night with me.
Hey, I'm Dean, and I'm a proud father of 4. But last year, something terrible happened, and I almost lost all my children. Me and the kids were on holiday in Beijing. It was kind of chaotic. The children were 7, 5, and 4-year-old twins. Over our first week, we went to the Great Wall and we explored palaces and parks. That day, we were in the busy city center, and the kids were tired and hungry. I was out of snacks, and they couldn't wait. I looked around and saw a stall selling some street food. We walked over to it, and I sat the kids down on a bench while I paid for the food. But when I turned, the bench was empty. My kids were gone. I looked around and couldn't see them anywhere. I went back to the stall when I felt someone stab me. I immediately fell down unconscious, and when I opened my eyes, I was laying on the ground at the same place where I felt like someone had stabbed me. I got up and ran to the bench where I left my children, yet no one was there. I started calling out their names, but there was no answer. I started to feel sick in my stomach. Where were they? I dropped the food and started calling their names as loud as I could over and over again. I stood on the bench and looked around. There were people everywhere, but I couldn't see my children. Then I saw something in the distance. It was a little girl from behind wearing a red coat. It was Lily, my youngest. She was being led down a side street by a stranger. I jumped off the bench and ran in that direction. I knocked over someone's shopping trolley and their food went everywhere, but I didn't stop to help. I pushed through a crowd of tourists and ran across a busy road, dodging cars and rickshaws, and headed down the side street. I ran down it, and then I saw a man leading my little girl away. I ran up to the girl and grabbed her off of him only to realize that it wasn't Lily. It was a girl around the same age who started screaming and crying. The man pulled her away and started shouting at me. I was too shocked to respond. He punched me in the face, and I fell down and hit my head. When I woke up, it was dark. I was disoriented, and I had no idea where I was. Yet, all of a sudden, it all came back to me, and I remembered that my children were lost, and I had to find them. Then, I remembered I was in an unfamiliar country, and my children were lost. I sat on the floor in pain, wishing that all of this was just a nightmare that would end as soon as I wake up. Unfortunately, it wasn't. When I snapped back to reality, I got my phone out of my pocket and called the police, but it wouldn't connect. I was dialing 999 like I would in the UK. I didn't even know how to call the Chinese police. I ran back into the city center, found a public security station, and went in. I was shouting and crying at the same time, and the worst thing was that they didn't understand what I was saying. Eventually, I was taken into an interview room and left there. I was anxiously waiting for someone to come and speak to me. I waited for a long time, however, no one came. I went to the door and was locked in. Minutes felt like hours. I was extremely nervous and I began to lose my mind until someone finally opened the door. It was a policeman and a translator. I explained to them what had happened. I was asked for a description of the children, so I gave them lots of photos from my phone to help them with their search. And that was it. They told me to go. I went back to the hotel alone. It was now the middle of the night, too late for me to go and look for them. And it was too late for me to call their mom and tell her what had happened. You see, their mom was due to fly out and meet us in 2 days. She was so proud of me taking the children abroad by myself, and I had failed her. The next day, I tried to call her, but it went straight to voicemail. I couldn't tell her what had happened in a message, so I just asked her to call me back. Then I had a thought. I remembered that Sue's sister, Li Na, was living in Beijing and works at a bank. I sent her a message and told her she had to meet me. We met for coffee that morning, but I was too scared to drink. As soon as I saw her, I burst into tears and told her what had happened. She was looking forward to seeing the children. She was surprised and upset at the same time, yet she promised to help. She took the day off work in order to help me find them. We went back to the square with photos and spoke to as many people as possible about the disappearance. Having her there to translate was a great help, but no one had seen them. We went to the police together and they said that they were doing all that they could. And the best thing I could do was to consult with the British Embassy and make sure that I could be contacted if needed. That night, Sue called me. Breaking the news to her was the hardest thing I had ever done. She was understandably very upset. She told me that she was going to fly out as soon as possible. 48 hours passed since I lost them. I felt helpless. I wasn't able to think, eat, or sleep. I just wanted to make sure that my kids were okay and nothing bad had happened. Li Na was off work still and helping me. She went to the airport and spoke to security there. I went to the British Embassy immediately so I could get some help. I went to the first person I saw in front of me begging for help. I started telling him that I had lost my children and I didn't know what to do. The man asked me to calm down and breathe so they could understand what really happened. He talked to someone over the phone and he led me to a room to wait. Suddenly, 2 policemen came in saying, "Dean, you are under arrest in charge of kidnapping your children." I was in shock and I started screaming, "That's nonsense! I came to report their absence and you arrest me instead? Why was I being treated so badly?" A British official came into the room and sat me down. He explained to me that Sue had reported my children missing that morning and had accused me of kidnapping them. I told them that was ridiculous. I had her permission to take the kids abroad and she was due to fly out to join us. To my surprise, I figured out that she told the officer we were separated and she had been kicked out of the family home, forcing her to return to work. She had no idea I was taking the children abroad and was worried about their safety. That was when I really freaked out. I knew that something had happened and I had to find my children. I went running to the door, but I was stopped by the policeman who started shouting at me in Chinese. Soon, there were other policemen restraining me. The next week, I was sent back to the UK where I was placed in a flat, on bail waiting trial for kidnapping. No one would believe that I was the victim and my children had been taken from me. Sue was interviewed on TV crying for her children to be returned to her. And I couldn't leave the flat as I was so scared that I was going to be shouted at, or worse, attacked. Every day was hard. I kept wondering if the children had forgotten about me. I was there for weeks and weeks, just with my own thoughts. How much had the children changed? Were they safe? Were they even... No, I didn't want to think about that. I was powerless to do anything. I couldn't contact Sue, but I felt so betrayed by her. Why had she reported that I had taken our children? We were happily married, or so I had thought. Maybe she was just as scared as I was. I sat there all alone, when suddenly, I thought I saw things moving. But when I stood up to check if what I saw was real, actually there was nothing. I was sure stuff moved in the reflection of the mirrors, but no one was there. I also heard my name, or weird, unclear voice. I don't know, I'm not sure. The whole thing made me paranoid. I was so worried, so I looked up the symptoms on the internet, and I figured out that these are examples of hallucinations. I was hallucinating. Maybe after all, I am a bad father. Sue was right. She did the right thing by reporting me. Thoughts kept revolving in my head. I was losing my mind. I couldn't take it anymore. I kept on blaming myself for not being responsible enough and losing my own children. I deserved everything that was happening to me. I freaked out and doubted myself. I think I have a problem. A mental problem. Yes, I am mentally ill. I kidnapped my own children. Then I cried and I screamed. I kidnapped my children, but I don't remember where they are. My head was about to blow. Sue knew everything. That is why she reported me. I thought I should see her. I have to go and ask for an explanation. I was feeling suffocated. I wanted to know what had happened to me. So I called the police and asked to go home because I needed to bring some personal stuff from there. They sent 2 officers that drove me to my house. I arrived there handcuffed in a police car. And when I got out of it, people were staring. My neighbors were looking through their windows. Everyone was pointing and whispering. I even heard some of them cursing me for kidnapping my own children. I felt ashamed, disgraced of myself. On my way upstairs, I was thinking of giving up and admitting everything to the police to make things better. I'm ready to go to jail if my children will return safely to their mother. But first, I had to talk to Sue. When I got into our house, I remembered all the good things, our happy memories together. I kept on imagining their presence and hearing their voices. The officers were waiting in front of the door, and they made sure that I wouldn't get near Sue because I'm not allowed to talk to her. But I have to. So I went to the room and pretended that I was packing some stuff. And then I sneaked out, carefully looking for her. I saw her standing in the corridor. I approached her quietly, but then I heard her talking on the phone. I hid behind the shoe cabinet and accidentally heard the conversation she was having. My jaw dropped. My wife was cheating on me. She was talking to someone named James, and she said, "James, baby, don't worry. It's all going to end soon, and we're going to be together." I was completely taken aback. I was bursting with fury, yet I had to stay calm and think of a rational solution to get myself out of this mess. On the other hand, I couldn't blame her. Her husband is mentally ill and kidnapped her children. I mean, she deserves to be happy. On my way home, I was in complete shock. I couldn't sleep. I kept on tossing and turning all night. I figured out a lot of surprising things in one day, and I decided that I should see a doctor. I talked to the police. I didn't confess yet, but I told them that all of this mess is driving me crazy, and I have the right to see a doctor. And so, I set an appointment at a psychiatric's clinic. Police officers came and drove me there. But for privacy, I went to the doctor's room alone. It was a doctor that worked with my wife a long time ago after she had our first kid. So I was talking to the doctor about what really happened to me. During our conversation, he had to leave the room for a while, so I sat there looking around, when I suddenly saw a file on his desk with my wife's full name on it. The file was kind of hidden, but I'm sure it was my wife's name. I was surprised, and curiosity drove me insane, so I stole the file. The paper stated that my wife was diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, a rare condition where a person can have 2 or more personalities present in the body. What have I done to deserve all this? Why is this happening to me? I tried to calm down and think reasonably. I finally decided to call the police and tell them everything since I couldn't do anything without supervision. The police started to investigate the case and found out that my wife really suffers from DID disorder. In her case, the character she developed from the disorder took control of her. And recently, this dangerous character became more dominant. She calls herself Yu Yan, and James is her boyfriend. She kidnapped the children and planned to accuse me in order to get rid of Sue's family and to live with her boyfriend without our existence. The whole story was mind-blowing. We were happy together. We were supposed to be on a holiday and have fun. I ended up without a wife and children. Fortunately, something good finally happened, and I found my children. They returned home safe. They were at James's place, and luckily, he didn't harm them. Sue/Yu Yan, I don't know what to call her, and James both got caught. Sue is receiving treatment at a mental hospital, and James is in jail. Though I have my children back, and thank God they're okay, I'm trying to understand what had happened. I just can't get over it. And the thing that bothers me the most is that I can't decide whether she is guilty or not. Should I visit her? Should I let our children see her? What should I do?